Hi, this is Wayne Mansfield. Welcome back to my 23 steps to totally dominate social media 2012. I've left Facebook, which is the granddaddy of all the social media applications, to step 5. Most people would start on it, but because we've got Facebook anyway, I thought I'd leave it to a little later in our steps for total domination. Now, Facebook, as we're recording this, which is mid-2012, is expected to announce that it has its 1,000th member. Sorry, I got that number wrong, isn't it? 1 billionth member of Facebook. That's extraordinary, isn't it? It would make it the 3rd biggest country in the world after China and India, and I could see at the rate it's been growing, this time next year we'll be talking about it having more members than there are people in either China or India. But social media, really most people say, well, it's Facebook. Let me give you the figures for Australia. Australia has 22 million people. Facebook say they have 12 million registered users, so that's better than 1 in 2 Australians have a Facebook account. Now, for business, the application isn't as flexible as it should be, and Facebook, after all, is now a money-making organisation, so it has, over the last 3 to 4 months, been changing, fine-tuning, making them more effective, pages for business. They used to be called fan pages, they're just called pages now. So there's lots of ways to look at pages. And the area of Facebook that most people miss is that it's different to Google search engine. So what you have in Google search engine is people are looking for a product and you try to match what they're looking for. Facebook, with all the information you give them to set your account up, and I understand that a lot of people make some of that information up, but then all the information that you share with your friends, they have algorithms that take note of that. So if you were a wedding florist, for example, it's possible for you to advertise on Facebook by selecting people who might be in the market for a wedding. So for florists, it would be females, and it would probably be between 20 and 35 who are single, engaged, or in a relationship. And then if your florist only handled people within a 20 or 50 kilometre radius, you can select that as well. And say, in the example for Australia, I know some of you will be looking at this from overseas, but in Australia you could select my city, Perth, and then you could select one of the suburbs and say within 50 kilometres of me, and you chop down the number of possible people from 12 million for Australia down to maybe 20 or 30,000 within this 50 kilometre radius. Then your ad will show, because you buy an ad, a very cheap ad, you buy an ad and it will show when anybody within your target market, those 20 to 35-year-old single, engaged or in a relationship young women, talk about things to do, weddings and receptions and babies and all those things, your ad will show up. You only pay when there's a click, and that happens about 1 in 100 times. So for every 100 times that your ad shows up, you pay for 1. It's fantastic stuff, and it is not when people are looking for it, it's for when people are talking about it. So Facebook, you can either be excited by this or scared by it. If you're scared by it, turn your computer off, stamp on it, never go back on the net, because this, everybody knows everything about us anyway. But as a business and for social media domination, Facebook is fantastic. Now, you might have gathered from what I just said that you should have more than one Facebook page. And in fact, in our case, where we're a seminar company with nearly 40 different seminars, we have 40 different pages. Because we find that if somebody's looking for cold calling, we need to capture them on a page that says cold calling for scaredy cats. If, however, they're looking for speed reading, we have another seminar called Power Read, speed reading for business, so it has its own page. So Facebook is the granddaddy of it. As I said at the start of this little session, closing on a billion members. Also, changing every day because of the necessity of the investors to get a return on investing all that money in Facebook. So Facebook will still be the place that most people have on their phone. In fact, maybe 70 to 80% of people access Facebook through their phone, and that gives us a different reason and a different strategy of social media marketing. So this is tip number 5 of the 23 steps to dominate social media. Wayne Mansfield saying until we meet again, thanks a lot, see you then.